Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing leases in Thailand. Specifically, we're discussing pre-existing leases on property. And this could be any kind of property, but the reason I thought of making this video, I was inspired by a recent article from the Tiger. That's the Tiger. Tiger is spelled THAIGER.com, thetiger.com. Article is titled "The Pros and Cons of Buying a Tenant-Occupied Condo." Now, I made a video contemporaneously with this one where we talked about condos specifically and evictions and things, but in this video, more the thrust is about leases. I'm going to make my citation, then we'll do the analysis. Quoting directly, "For real estate investors looking for immediate cash flow in Thailand, buying a condo with a tenant might seem ideal. After all, it saves you the time, money, and stress of looking for a new tenant. However, buying a tenant-occupied condo in Thailand has both advantages and disadvantages. If you're not careful, you could end up purchasing a costly problem from the seller. That's why it's essential to weigh the risks against the benefits and be sure you fully understand the implications. If you need to evict a tenant, the process can be complicated and costly. Keep in mind that you cannot evict tenants just because you bought the condo with the intention of living there. You'll have to hold off till the end of their lease. Make sure you abide by any rules that may be enforced that demands the renters be informed when their leases won't be renewed." Well, yeah, there's a lot going on here with leases, and this is good information. And I urge those who are watching this video, go check out that article because there's more. They go through the pros and the cons, and there's a lot of good information in there and gives people something to think about. The reason I'm making this, though, is issues pertaining to leases. Sometimes people here in Thailand think they have a lease whose terms, they're ironclad, quote unquote. Well, and they may not be enforceable at all. For example, just one example is, as we've discussed in other videos, the enforceability of leasing is hinged upon the length of the lease. So, for example, if a lease in Thailand can be drafted and be enforceable for 3 years or under without registration at the land office. But anything that's more than that duration, it may be, not invalid, but it may be unenforceable pursuant to the Thai Civil and Commercial Code, which stipulates that anything that has more than a 3-year duration and is being used as a lease of immovable property has to be registered with the land office. This is just kind of a rule of thumb. So that's just one example, So while leases are something to be concerned about, because you want to, at the end of the day, act in good faith and not put anybody out that has operated in good faith themselves in leasing a piece of property. But there are circumstances sometimes where the lease might not be enforceable, and this can be a problem for somebody who's leasing from someone who sells out from under them, and then time passes and they're unable to continue renewing their lease. So this is all analysis which should be undertaken during the due diligence before purchasing property or real estate, or even leasing property or real estate here in Thailand. For those who feel a little overwhelmed by all this, it might not be a terrible idea. Contact a legal professional, gain some insight and guidance into how best to proceed.